I believe in 2019, I got my first real big radio break with corporate radio, of course, with Radio One in Richmond, iPower. And I was literally there for 3 months. And then COVID hit. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I was so excited. Again, my first big break, middays. I was doing middays in Charlotte at Streets 1033 as well. But that's more independent. So this was like a step up in terms of learning more of the corporate side of radio. So that was pretty fun. I had a great time there. In all honesty, I think I became depressed after I got let go because that's how much fun I had while being at that radio station. I met a lot of friends. The management was amazing. Radio One is amazing. So again, yeah, when I got there, I remember it's like it was yesterday, April 7th. The world changed. I have it written in my journal. Okay. April 7th was the day that my world shifted. We just got into this thing, this pandemic that nobody knew. I just remember talking to my old manager. His name is Matt. I love Matt so much. I remember when we first started COVID, we all had the jocks were the only ones in the building at the time. We had this paper that we had to drive around with to show like officers, because at that point nobody could be on the roads. Yeah, like, but we had to still go into the studio. So there's this paper, and I still have the paper to this day, that says, "Hey, Tradia's, she's what is it, essential worker? Yeah, and she has to be, driving at this time, blah blah blah." So I just remember that day. But anyway, this particular day, I came in early, of course, and we was at this point we was voice tracking. So all of our voices were just in the system, and we went home. And yes, I did my voice tracking job, and then I went to the grocery store and I spent like literally $200 on groceries because I'm like, I am racking up. I am not leaving the house, so let me get some groceries. And I pull back into my apartment complex and I get a call from my manager. And he just said, "Hey, Tradia, it was so like scripted. It was like no feelings, no nothing." And I not verbatim because I don't remember, but he said something along the lines of, "Hey, I just want to let you know that your position is being terminated immediately." And it was just like, wait, what? Like me, I couldn't even talk. But even if I talked, I felt like he had to stay on some type of script because of course, management, you have to stay on script. And we were genuinely friends. Like I was his first hire as a PD. I remember I sat there, I had to return my keys. Of course, it was no like exit interview. I didn't see anybody after that. It was so like to the point. Thanks. Goodbye. And what made me really cry is the fact that like I'm sitting in the radio listening to my breaks and I just hear my last break fade out. And then it just went to commercial. So they pulled all my breaks. Everything was gone. And yeah, that day I was so sad. But of course my manager, he's such a great guy. Matt, he was a great manager. He called me, he, told me it was nothing about my talent. It's just, the world was experiencing something we don't know what's going on. So he helped me to understand it wasn't me, even though I still took that to heart. I still felt like it was me, even though I know it wasn't me. But I think I just got over the fact of knowing it really had nothing to do with my talent. And I think for me, I'm the first person ever in the iPower studio that got let go so quickly. So I had a lot of like little things that was like messing with me kind of.
You're like, we just started dating and it was going well. What happened?
It was going great. Okay. Like I had the best time, endorsements, everything. I was like, everybody in the building said I was such a light because I mean, I'm a nice person. So, and everybody there was my family. That was the first ever family aspect I ever felt in any job. So it was hard leaving everybody. So after that, I end up again, no job. I think I got unemployment maybe, or I got what's it called when they pay you?
Oh, the stimulus thing.
I got the stimulus, and I actually stayed in Virginia. I broke my lease. Well, I was able to break my lease without any penalty based off of COVID and everything like that. So I ended up staying in Virginia for, I believe, 4 more months. So I just kind of like sat in my house, dark room. I was so depressed, girl. It was like the worst. I did not know, and I said it on the last interview I had with Jay Bell. I didn't know who I was outside of radio because I've been doing it for so long.
That was such an interesting point, I think, too, because there's so many people that feel that. And like you said, sometimes you don't realize it until it's taken away. And you're like, wait a second.
Yeah. And for me, I've been doing entertainment, not even radio. I've been doing entertainment for many years. I can scale back to even elementary school doing entertainment. So that has always been my life. So when I finally get a big break, I just didn't understand why, in my opinion, God was taking it away. So for months I sat in a dark room. I barely ate. I lost so much weight. It was like really horrible. And then I moved back home with my family. And from there, I was very actively trying to find another job. I didn't care how much money it paid. I didn't care where it was. I just want another radio job because I did not know who I was outside of that.
Just trying to get your foot in the door anywhere.
Trying to get my foot back in the door because I knew I had so much to offer, and I couldn't let it go. So I searched, and I came across oh my God, how did I come across? Foxy 99 had an opening for middays, and that's in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I believe somebody I think J Tech actually is the one who contacted me and told me about the position, but he told me to apply. And I applied and I ended up getting the job. So it took me after I got let go at in Richmond, it took me 6 months before I got this other job. So I ended up getting a job in Fayetteville, and I stayed there for 2 years, and then I quit. But let me just say, Beasley Media is also amazing. Foxy 99 was amazing. I loved everybody there. Like, my coworkers were really, really great to me. They made me feel at home. They made me feel like loved and special. And I will honestly say Foxy 99 is the reason why I feel like I'm a better talent, because I was there longer. I was only in at iPower for 3 months. Fayetteville, I was there for 2 years. So I was able to really like learn the skill. I was able to really like take in who I was as a personality. And I love that about myself. Like, the only thing was I still had that depression on me. So to me, I started to treat my midday job like a regular job.
You lost the passion for it?
Yeah, I did. And I don't know, still to this day, well, it's many factors, but still to this day, I think one of the factors was I was alone again. Like, no friends. I had no friends in Fayetteville really that I hung out with besides, one girl I met. But I still was in the house all day, every day. I was having some management issues, which is another story, which is probably the biggest reason why I left. But that on top of still being in the house all day by myself, I just wasn't feeling it. I had all these dreams of like continuing my YouTube channel. That didn't happen while I was in Fayetteville. And I really sat myself down and said, Tradia, like, what are you doing, girl? You are so talented.
Do you feel like your skill set was being held back?
Oh, for sure. And I know that for a fact because I had many meetings and many conversations about a lot of things. And I talk about this a lot because I feel like it takes somebody to come and change the culture of places. And I really feel like, I don't want to be spiritual, but I do feel like God placed me at certain places to be a voice in some sense. And I'm such a scary person. I don't like confrontation. I'm very, very nice, but I do feel like me stepping into this new role, new people, new management, I had to step into a different side of myself that I wasn't used to, and kind of put like my big girl pants on and like really demand what I felt was right. So that was a huge battle for me, because I've never had to be like that in any aspect of my life.
It like helped you grow in that aspect?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It helped me grow in many ways of like, I feel as women in radio, we feel like we don't have a voice a lot of times, or we can't speak out about a lot of things. And that's not true, and I'm a testament to that, because even though I spoke out on, it wasn't nothing big, but even though I spoke, I was still able to keep my job. I was still able to probably get things done and moving forward the way that they should, So, and I encourage everybody in radio, please don't ever be afraid. Like, I used to always hear, don't speak out against management. Don't speak out against that coworker because you're going to get blackballed and however you say it, whatever. And like, I held on to that my entire career until I was faced with the decision to do the opposite. One thing that really kind of stuck with me, right? Like, when I first got there was I was so excited about, oh yeah, like I had a meeting. And the first thing I remember that really stuck with me, because I was so excited about, because when you get a new show, of course you're a new talent in the market. So that comes with drops, liners, things that help build your character as a personality so the audience can get to know you. I was told straight up that I can't get any liners, can't get any publicity, no promotion. I had literally no drops that I can ever use.
It was the reasoning, like trying to pay your dues first.
Basically, like, I don't know if some people used to be big headed over those things, but I come from a place where like that's a part of you of your show, and is getting to know your new talent that's in the market.
Marketing the personality, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, so I felt like a weekend personality at this point. Like, no offense to weekend personalities. Like, I'm definitely want to get back into radio, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But I just felt like, well, I can't even get a single, hey, this is Tradia, check her out. What time was I on? 10 to 3, Monday through Friday. I couldn't get none of that. So I ended up making my own and just plugged them in whenever I wanted to.
Good for you.
I hit it on the hotkeys whenever I felt like it.
Good. And that's what I picked up from you too, is that there's the creativity there that you seem to have, obviously from all the stuff that you're doing between YouTube and understanding social media, that you're one of those people that like are bigger than radio, essentially. Like you still want to do that, but like you have the talents all outside of radio to not just be stuck there.
Yeah, and before I even moved, I was on the TV stations here as well. I did a lot of entertainment news here in Charlotte. So yeah, it was always my dream to be bigger than TV and radio. Like eventually my own, stuff, my own podcast, which I still haven't done on podcast, just so many things that I know that I'm capable of doing. So when I got there, I did feel a little stagnant. I also was told I couldn't do, because a lot of midday people do like the television entertainment news and stuff like that. I was also told I couldn't do that. So it was just like, okay, like what can I do? But that happened for a slight course of my time there, and then things started to turn around for the better.
But you still left anyway?
Yeah, so my sister Michaela, actually last year, she introduced me to this girl named Hallie, and she works for Buzzfeed. And I used to do some things with Buzzfeed many, many years ago. And we kind of talked, stayed in touch, and probably a month before I left, she reached out to me and asked me about would I be interested in joining the team. They had a new opening. She broke down exactly what it was, which was like social media video production and things like that, which I'm so good at. I do production as well now. Well, I've been doing production for years. So she reached out to me, asked me, was I interested? It came with remote, double, probably even triple the pay. And like, it was just I could not turn it down. And at the time I was speaking to my boyfriend at the time, and I was telling him, like, he was just like, if you don't take it, you'll be an idiot. Because I'm so nervous to make change, which I know it was for the better.
Was it a remote gig?
It was a remote job. Yeah. So I'm doing it. That's what I do now. And I've been with the company for 7 months already. So, and it's been fantastic. So yeah, I decided to take the offer. But what I did first was I used up all my vacation time, and then I came back after vacation, and I was like, hey, here's my 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
So I encourage everybody, if you plan on leaving, I still put in my 2 weeks. I still stayed the whole 2 weeks. It's just I took my vacation time, and I loved everybody. So it wasn't, if anything, they threw me a party. They got me flowers. I will always love Fayetteville, Beasley, Foxy 99. I will always love them because they really made me feel so special. They wanted me to stay the whole time just so we can all still bond and see how we can all stay connected. I still talk to a lot of them now too. So I came back, was like, yeah, I got something to tell you. I'm leaving. And you know what? Content now for radio is a requirement. Luckily I'm good at it, but now it's a requirement. Some companies even structured it in your bonus too. So where if you're not meeting certain numbers, then you're not getting your bonus. Which I think is crazy, but of course, like, whatever. That's how a lot of companies are working now. So, just be good at social media. I personally love social media. And in radio, I feel like it's necessary. I like the content where I can make it personalized for myself. Like, this is what Tradia likes, not just copy and pasting.
So then what's like a day in the life of you, like at Buzzfeed?
So I am I'm one of the lead video producers, or one of the producers. And what I do is we basically create videos that you can see on the website, on the social media platforms. And I work for the team called B Pages. So if you ever see a story on BuzzFeed and it's like a little video that's showing something about Britney Spears, and it's a bunch of videos and pictures with words lined up on that, I am one of the producers that actually put those together. And I do that from 10 until 6. And I also got stepped up to where now I'm kind of like helping the management now. So I'm like approving videos and embedding a lot of articles and just doing things like that. Also with BuzzFeed, I have the opportunity to do like PR stuff, and I can like I'm always getting emails about, hey, do you want this product? You don't have to post it, but would you like products? We want to send you guys
Oh,
to Toronto. Would you like to go? Unfortunately, my passport is expired, so I couldn't go. I still tried to get that together. But yeah, BuzzFeed is such a great, what I love about BuzzFeed is that it gives me opportunity to actually like have a work-life balance. I don't feel stuck, I don't feel stuck. I feel like completed because I'm able to really like complete projects. I'm able to get feedback, and my team is so great. Like I work with such great people to where it motivates me to be better. So yeah, that's my day in life. I don't know how long remote's gonna last,
yeah.
but let me knock on wood because I don't. But but I would choose remote jobs over anything because it gives me more time to be with my family. It gives me more time to rest too. Because believe it or not, even though
Yes.
we're in entertainment, you need rest. One thing I will say about COVID, it let us realize how valuable our time is, and I truly love that. I mean, probably shouldn't correlate COVID with remote, but that's why remote happened, kind of.
For sure.
So I do like the aspect of being remote because again, I can see my niece whenever, I can see my family, my friends, I could do whatever and still feel able and willing to do my job. Now, as far as radio goes, yeah, I haven't been in the studio so long, but
You would do like a part-time kind of thing just to
oh
keep it
yeah.
in going?
I actually have a few things lined up coming up soon. Some like voice tracking part-time remote things, which I would be 100% interested in. Even the station I came from, 103.3, my very first station, I may have an opportunity there as well. So yeah, I'm definitely still love the game, still would love to be in radio, still cherish radio. So if it happens, it happens. As far as full-time, I'm full-time with BuzzFeed, so I don't know if that will happen right now. And after being with BuzzFeed and seeing the money, I'm just like, I could probably do radio part time, girl. I'm good.
I know, and that's,
I'm good.
that's where they're going to keep losing the best people, literally, because, again, like we talked about, it's like you're more than just a voice on the radio now, they're content creators. So
Hmm.
that happens exactly like that, is that somebody else that's willing to invest in the people, you get a taste of that and you're like, well, okay, I can still do the content, get, more support, make
Exactly.
way more money,
Right.
work from home. Like, so why would I
Right.
want to be go back in the radio box and make less money and be way more stressed?
And also with radio, a lot of syndication is happening too. So jobs are getting fewer and fewer, which is I'm so sad when I hear about that. Granted, I love the thought of syndication and voice tracking because hey, I'm probably about to do it too. But I hate like when I was coming up trying to get in radio, it was a lot easier for me. I was able to actually sit in studios and learn from people and grow genuine connections. I feel so bad for the generation coming up behind us because it's going to be few to none jobs like that they're going to be able to get. And I mean, they don't even do what's the word? Internships anymore. So it's like, how do kids get an opportunity? So, I always tell myself if I'm ever back on the radio, especially like part time, I would love it to where I can at least bring somebody under me so they can learn under me and not work because I know you can't do that, but just shadow me and do some things because it's going to be less and less opportunities for that to happen. Another thing, podcasting is like so much more interesting than radio nowadays. Like I literally sit and listen to podcasts all day long, and
Yeah.
and that's what excites me. And I don't know where it's going. I hope it stays. I know radio's never going away, but I hope it improves to where like we can get back to the true essence of like what radio stands for. The reason why I learned all this stuff is from I had a mentor. His name was Rayshawn Green, and he was at Streets. He really told me like you don't want to just be a personality because you guys are the first ones out. What else can you do? So he literally trained me on how to edit, how to freaking write scripts, how to read scripts. It's like so much that he taught me, and I still carry those skills to this day. They're valuable skills because literally I can take this anywhere,
Yeah.
I can literally take it anywhere. So I thank him for really showing me the ropes when it comes to this type of stuff. I have an ear for certain things. I know when something doesn't sound right. I know how to take, breaths out of like, yeah, just so much when it comes to production, I know how to do. So I really thank him for that. And I think everybody who's in radio should know the basics when it comes to editing and producing and writing scripts and learning how to put together a script, how to read a script. All that is so important. And you can take that anywhere.
There's still maybe a chance here, and I mean, they still have it wrong sometimes by like, you know, hiring people because, well, they've got a big following, and it's like,
I
right.
really hate that, and I feel like that's the main description they want now. Oh, this person has a big following. I can buy Instagram followers too. Like,
That's what I say. We say, I'm like, first of all, you can buy them, and I'm like, pay attention to the engagement or what their brand is about.
exactly, the engagement. Nobody wants to. It's all about a game of how it looks. You know, how it looks, how it sounds, how it looks with the team, and it's just funny because, and that also takes away from people who actually went to school for this. Like, we went to school for like 4.5 years to learn the trade, learn this, and like we get backburned by somebody with 50K followers or something. I don't know. It's just really ridiculous. I've never been at any radio station where I don't run my own board. I know some places do that, but I would rather run my own board so I can learn it. So when you get fired, you get fired, you get fired. At least I could do my job. So like I think like you're right. Like the influencer stuff, they have a great following. They have the look, but like they have the sound. And I'm not necessarily saying people need a radio sound, but you have to be able to have the sound and be able to really connect because the audience get it. They definitely get it. You know, they know who really wants this and who just wants it for the clout of it. Like, I genuinely loved it since a child, and I still do, you know? And I feel like if it's meant for me to be back in, I will be back in.
What really made you fall in love with it? Like, what was the thing that made it go like, this is really cool, I love this shit?
I think just the oh, that's a really great question. For me, I've always loved entertainment, right? And I remember like it was yesterday. I was in college, and I this one girl was just like, she has a really weird voice. And that stuck with me for so freaking long. I'm like, so I used to try to change my voice and everything like that. So when like I remember telling I think one of my professors that, and he played me a radio show. Actually, I think this happened maybe in middle school. He played me like a radio show or whatever. And the person had just as much of a weird voice as me. And I just fell in love with it because they were so entertaining. They drew me in. It was like, wow, I can be this person. You know, this person is not to me back in the day. Somebody famous was like on the TV, but this person was on the radio. I didn't really realize the magnitude of radio and how powerful it can be on the radio. So like that person, I forgot who I was even listening to. But they really
that'd be so cool to know, to remember.
Oh my God, yeah. I can't even remember. These are things that I wish I remember. But just listening to this person, it was a female, and I can't remember the name. Oh my gosh. They just really drew me in, and they made me feel connected to them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like people like me, I can do that too. And that's when I fell in love with it. Like it was me and I had two other friends. We had this group in college called We Are Front Row, which was a YouTube show that we did. But I remember we also tried to take it to radio first, and I loved it way more than they did. And it's like I automatically fit, like the voice, the sound, the look, I automatically fit, and it just stuck with me for so long. So I don't know, like I said, that's a great question. I think it's many things that make me love radio, and still to this day, like I love still listening to jocks. Here, I tune into different places just to hear how people sound and what they talk about still, because you never want to lose the true essence of it. So I make sure I still trying to like stay connected in some kind of way. It's crazy how things change. I never knew that I would be out of radio, honestly. Never knew that in a million years. I never planned to be out of radio, but sometimes you have to pivot and find your way back if it's meant to be.
I think your story is kind of a good like testament to the gist that for some people it isn't just about chasing that radio job. It's like you chased it and it's like, okay, I work in radio. You're like, but I'm not being fulfilled. I don't, like you said, not have as many friends, or that like the job itself isn't fulfilling. And I don't think enough people back in the day would kind of take that all in, like, where am I living? Like, yeah, 'cause some people, like, I think the last one you mentioned too, you're like, I don't want to be the person that has to chase all over the country. I want to start something with a little more grounds, And
that was my main thing. I'm glad you touched on that. That was my main thing. I never wanted to be too far. And I remember Rayshawn telling me, like, if you want to be a personality, you're going to go from this place, this place, this place. And I didn't think it was true until it started happening to me. And like, I remember even bringing it up to my old manager or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, I'm just feel so stressed because, I'm moving a lot and things like that. And he was like, he made like me feel so, I probably should talk about this, but he made me feel like so like crazy for having my feelings. I'm like, I'm human at the end of the day, and since I'm glad that people are talking about mental health a lot more now because I never knew I was like struggling from that. So me moving and all that stuff took a huge toll on me. To where like I'm saying like I don't want to move again for a radio job. Like I don't that was my sentiment then. But it took a big toll on me. And being able to express that and got kind of rejected made me feel even worse. I'm like, these are my feelings. I'm not saying I don't love where I'm at, but I'm struggling a lot with
And you
this.
want your talent to be the best that they can be because then they can put on, a great show.
Exactly. So I started to suffer in that aspect too. And that was the main reason why I had to like make a change to leave. Like I contemplated it every day. Like I can't continue to be like this because I feel like I was taking the place of somebody who truly deserves to be in this role here. I was like filling space at this point. And I was very open and honest about that. I was filling space. So I was like, I have to move so somebody else can have this blessing.
And so far it's been great. You're happy that you did.
Oh my gosh, I don't ever want this to end.
What would be your ideal situation now?
I would like to be hybrid. I would like to maybe like Tuesday through Wednesday I'm in studio and the rest I'm voice tracking and if there's any interviews I can go in and handle that, do all the content around that, spend a whole day making sure I'm good with that. Any artists that come through, I would do that. And sometimes I just feel like going to the studio, I want to go. I kind of just want to make my own rules, which I know is not a thing. But ideally, I would like it to where maybe, like you said, if it's a hybrid type of thing. I can come in like 2-3 days out the week, the other, whatever I voice track, and then just do it all again. I would love to be able to do remotes for the team and things like that, and while keeping my job at Buzzfeed.
Just having that security, even how you just feel like if you knew you had that same kind of security and ability to kind of do what you do in radio, you could feel that. It's unfortunate that so many people don't get that in radio. It's always some kind of, when are they going to break up with me?
Yeah, oh my God, you feel that every day, like, and that was the main thing, like just feeling that oh my God, is it the day that they're going to pull the plug, blah blah. Now I will say at Foxy 99 I didn't feel that as much.
Okay.
Because I felt like we had a solid team, things were moving the way it should be, but I always knew that it could happen.
I guess since you've kind of obviously have had the experience in content creation, YouTube and radio, I guess what would you advise for somebody that's like interested in radio now and they want to know like how to navigate the industry or the world of content?
Great question. For me personally, I always stick to build genuine connections with people because people know when you're being genuine or you just want to get your foot in the door. I mean, 9 times out of 10, we all know you want to be here, but get to know people. And I think that's something that I did. I genuinely got to know people. I wanted to know more about their life, how they got into the game. If they
like
can
networking.
Yeah, networking. That's the biggest thing. Networking is the biggest thing for me. And I will also say utilize LinkedIn. I mean, I don't know how many young people use LinkedIn, but I got majority of my emails and contacts with radio through LinkedIn.
I love hearing, nobody ever says that. And I love LinkedIn too. So
yeah, I love
LinkedIn.
I'm always in somebody's DMs or messages in LinkedIn. Like you cannot keep me out of somebody's inbox. Okay. So utilize LinkedIn. Utilize when people are doing like radio remotes. If you know that there's a remote happening at the Burger King down the street, go to events and genuinely talk to people. So like you said, networking is the key factor. Also study the industry. Know exactly what you want out of the industry. If you would like to go to a certain place, study that market. Look up who the managements are. Like look up who works there, who used to work there, and get to know them as well. And also just have a love for it because at the end of the day, radio is fun. It kind of, people might not think it's fun, but radio is such a fun, entertaining place to be, an industry to be in, and you just want to have fun with it. Don't let nobody take you off of your path when it comes to radio. Come in who you are, stand on that, and just make the best out of it because it's all about, in life you want to do things that make you happy. So just do what makes you happy